Still in San Diego, still no hot tub, feeling very curmudgeonly. So today, about 30 years ago, I was driving by a brand new park, city park in Kennewick, when I saw a sign that said, "No kite flying." That sign offended me. What kind of officious bureaucratic factotum sits around and tells people where they can fly kites and where they cannot? I resolved that on the next windy day, I would take my kite to that park. Now, fortunately for me, before the next windy day, I saw an advertisement for Timex watches. You know, the old line, takes a lickin' and keeps on tickin', where they show photographs of people who, while wearing their Timexes, fell 30,000 feet from an airplane and lived, or had a bowling ball fall on their head and they kept on ticking, as did the watch. Well, one of the examples showed a young lady with a large cast from her shoulder to her wrist. She had been flying a kite near a small airport. An airplane taking off had snagged her kite string and dragged her 100 yards before scraping her off on a tree. Would you like to guess what was right next door to that new park that had the sign that said, "No kite flying"? Yep. So all of that's a parable, or maybe more accurately, an Aesop's fable, that has an important moral at the end that we should all learn from. And the moral applies to the Trump administration. The twit-in-chief thought he could walk into a business he knew nothing about and be completely conversant and competent based on business he did know about. Jared Kushner believed he could sit down with representatives of China and pay no attention to protocols developed by our security agencies over decades. An obvious reason for these protocols is to prevent secrets of our government from falling into the wrong hands. But Mr. Kushner knows himself to be a very smart fellow, and he's not going to leak any secrets. But a less obvious reason for the protocols is to prevent the American from getting himself ensnared in such a way, just a minute here, getting himself ensnared in such a way that the enemy can blackmail him. Now, Mr. Kushner may have indeed ensnared himself, and unwittingly, since he's almost as much a genius as his father-in-law. So the less obvious reason for the many protocols our government bureaucrats have developed over decades are as incomprehensible to the Trumps as was that sign, "No kite flying." And the Trumps are as obtuse and obdurate as I was when I saw that offensive sign. I was fortunate to get a wake-up from Timex. Let us all pray the Trumps get a wake-up before it's too late for all of us.